Hello, friends. We are here today to talk about social media, batching your posts, how to get engagement, and why we do the things, essentially. We are a network marketing company. Social media is a really big part of that. And so we want to make sure that you guys are prepared and have all of the tools in your arsenal, in your toolbox, ready to go, especially as we are getting through summer and getting these best practices ready for our busiest season so that when it's time for the onslaught of all the fun, right? All of the holiday and fall stuff, we already have systems in place and we already have our schedule set up. So we know what we're doing. We're not going in questioning and wasting time thinking, what? Because I can tell you I've done that and it's not successful. Did not make for success. So with me live, I have Katie and Brandi, and we're all just going to kind of give our own little tips and tricks. And we also have Fallon, who will be joining us soon. And she is a professional photographer. So she'll be giving us some very specific ways, her best tips and tricks. And I'm very excited. So Brandi, I want her to go first. She doesn't necessarily do a lot on social media in regards to public pages, but she has a very successful VIP group. And so I want her to touch on that, what kind of posts she makes, how she gets the engagement, and take it away.
All right.
We can totally swap if you want.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that. I think that's okay. So I'm not screaming across the way. A lot of what I do, I include my kids. I have a 2-year-old and a 7-year-old. And so I include them in almost every post. If we are smelling scents, if we are opening boxes, they help me. They get all their excitement in and out of there. They will give their honest opinion because kids are honest. They will tell you it stinks. They will tell you it's gross. They will tell you this or that. And it gets so much engagement in my VIP group because people are now like, all right, well, I have to smell this and see if it's actually gross or if it's just the little kid saying it's gross. Cash eats wax. And so I'll have people commenting in the background like, hey, he's eating some wax back there. I'm like, it's all right, it's food grade. Don't worry about it, he's okay. And so I include them a lot in everything. Also, my husband, he's very involved too because he is a scent, I don't know what you say, it said Nazi, like I can't put something in the house. Yeah, it's pretty bad. I can't put something in the house if he doesn't like it. So we are like, if something comes in, he has to smell it, he has to give his opinion. So I'm always posting pictures of that and videos of his opinion. I share what my kids are using. I mean, we brought Tara today because Cash is with us. So Tara has to come. Mostly a lot of like that family element. And I feel like it makes it a little more real because they know that I'm actually doing this. Like my kids are smelling it. My husband's smelling it. I am using it in the house because Peyton doesn't like it. It's not going in her room, things like that. So that's really where we've kind of pulled it into our VIP group, and everybody in the VIP group knows like it's a family affair. And so they're excited. Like, I love watching your kids do this. I love watching your kids do that. And I post a lot of what we do outside of Scentsy in my VIP group too. So they feel very special that they're getting an inside peek at our family, like our events. We have like, what did you do Saturday? And so I posted the things that we did, and then they share their pictures of what they've done. I share birthday parties. So not as much as I would share on my main page, they get like an extra inside peek. And so they're getting like tours around the house. They're getting pictures of us coloring our flowers. So it's real intimate, I guess. And it's more of like, they feel, I call them my family because I mean, we are a family. So it's really all just kind of intimate and special to be in the VIP group. I post stuff outside of it, but if you want to see more, join the VIP group. And awesome. So that's really where we get a lot of the engagement, and they know if I'm sharing it, it's because we believe in it, we love it, we like it. Maybe my kids don't like it. I give full honest opinions. Like a lush gardenia, I smelled it and I was like, nope, not gonna happen. And I had 3 people say, I have to smell that. So I said, you can have the bar because it's not going to be used here. So I had someone, I gave them a bar and they ordered 3 more. So like, they love that real and honest like opinion, because lush gardenia, they might not have even seen it, but I said it was terrible. They like flowers, they ordered it. So really just make it family and feel like they've got an inside look at our life, I guess.
Awesome. Yeah, I really dig that.
Really
That's cool. Hey, Fallon, thanks for hopping on and joining us. Did you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. Hang on, let me clean my.
Okay, let me turn on the volume. There we go, volume.
Okay, you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so Arielle asked me to do 3 basic tips for taking photos of your products. And so I was trying to whittle it down. Okay. So
You can do more if you want.
we're going to start with number 1 in photography in general. If you don't know it, I have a background in photography. And the biggest thing that makes the difference between a good photographer and a bad photographer is lighting. And most people are like, oh, it's your equipment. No, it's not. It doesn't matter what phone you got in your hand, you can take good product pictures, okay? Because lighting makes all the difference. So I'm going to kind of show you an example in my tiny little corner here. Let me move my dying plant out of the way. That wouldn't be a great background. Okay, so let's talk about lighting. First of all, flip this around. Okay, so first and foremost, what you don't want is to start with this. I'm going to show you the difference in how your camera is going to capture it. As you can see, this is backlighting. Our lighting source is this window. You can use a lighting ring, whatever you've got available to you, a lamp, it's fine. A lot of cameras nowadays compensate for your warmth of your light, so you don't have to worry about that. But what you're going to want to do, sorry for my dog screaming in the background, you don't want backlighting, because if you look at this, you can't really see any detail of the warmer. Even from the side, it's not very interesting lighting. It's not helping the warmer to sell itself at all. But what makes a difference is if you just simply turn it towards your light surface. Let me turn my whole chair so you can see a real difference. Now, all of a sudden, this is dynamic lighting. You have your shadows on one side, you have an entire side lit up. Imagine some of our most beautiful warmers, like our Enchant diffuser, with boring lighting. Like, you wouldn't see all the cute details, you wouldn't see all the glitter, you wouldn't see all the colors. So you have to make sure that you're at least have something dynamic. Now, could you do it like this? Sure, it's cute somewhat, but I kind of recommend doing it slightly to the side. You see how much more interesting that is? Like, oh, lighting, no, to the side. Same thing with your face. If you've ever taken a selfie and you're like, I hate this, it's probably the lighting. It's not your face, it's the lighting, okay? So you're gonna start with lighting. So you're gonna make sure that the lighting is good, okay? So I always recommend light source to one side and then getting some shadows on the other side. Now, you'll also notice this kind of light is called diffused light. It is not, if we were to go outside, hopefully not break my favorite warmer while we do this.
Right.
So some people like this kind of light. I'm not a fan, but it does have its qualities, okay? So it has very bright light. Sometimes this will work with warmers. Sometimes it'll create too drastic of shadows, but this is direct light. Either one works. You can use either. Again, you see it has super good highlights right here, shadows on one side. It makes it dynamic. It makes it look pretty, okay? Now, I'll just actually use that. Hold on. It might be better lighting. Okay, so that's lighting, starting with lighting, okay? Next is your location. So obviously, if I took a picture like this, people are gonna be like, what are you talking about? You're in your backyard, where's your plug? You know what I mean? So location needs to make sense. I get it. We all want like the cute stuff, like, oh, look, it's so cute, but it's not gonna make sense for people, okay? So if you can find a cute table with preferably inside, but I'm just gonna pretend that we're inside, okay? And then on top of that, adding your location details. So a lot of people have these little plants from IKEA or the dollar store even. You can get fake little flowers. They also have cute little stands. I'm sure you've seen it. Every SSD posts about the Target dollar spot every time that there are stands. So if you follow any SSDs, you'll know when to go get them, okay? But you get little kind of...
I know to go get them, so.
Yeah. And it's like, even though you have 15, you're still going to go get more. Oh, look at that. Great timing. We're going to go back inside. Susie. We have mowers today.
Hi, Sean.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, so back to our somewhat dynamic lighting here. This makes more sense. Look at my beautiful plants in the background, not that one. Okay, so again, we're having details. So you have lighting and location. So location would make sense. They can tell this is inside. I have a cabinet in the background. But if you've got like a cute table that you want to show off, take full detail pictures. Like if you have like this obviously wouldn't make sense. But if you have this being a full table, it would make sense to be in that location, okay? The last detail oriented, go ahead, go outside. Goodness, talk about Hot Mess Express, right? Work our business when we can. So The last one would be when you are editing pictures, because we have very specific products, and this is a rant in a way, make sure that when you are editing your pictures, do not use too heavy of filters. I have noticed we have a lot of posters and stuff that I can't use after somebody takes a picture because the blue light or the green overhue. When people get the product, you want your photos to look as close to what they will get in the mail, because you don't want disappointed customers on that, okay? Believe me, trust. Because if they think they're getting something off-white and they're actually getting something crisp white, that will matter to them when they have like a boho farm or boho room, you know what I mean? So making sure that you're editing properly would also make a huge difference. So there's your 3 tips: lighting, location, and then your editing. Make sure it's clean, simple, and easy to do.
Awesome. I love that. Any bonus tips?
I'm sorry, what?
Any bonus tips?
What do you want to know? I mean, there's so much. Like, let me think.
Oh,
Turning
my
on a warmer. So what?
No, your turn.
Okay. I really appreciate when people take multiple angles. So not hyper focusing on just like, they're not like, here's the warmer, right? They kind of take it like, here's the warmer in its natural habitat on my table, right? Like it'll be, instead of, oh, let me chop chicken right here. Like say I'm chopping chicken right here. I wouldn't do that on a chair, but chopping chicken in front of the warmer, having that be a part of life, in my opinion, helps to sell it. Because instead of just being like, look, product, it's life first, then product. Product fits into life, not the other way around. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that would be a big tip on making sure, just kind of like bring it together. Like when people, I don't know if you guys remember when bath bombs launched, the number one thing I wanted to do was buy more bath bombs because everybody started posting,
I think I accidentally had our video pinned that whole time that you were talking. And I don't know how that shows up on the recording.
I think it's just you that I don't know, actually. I'll just show real quick. Lighting.
Yeah, show real quick.
Speaking about.
And then everybody knows that I'm a ding dong. So
this is a quick overview. They're fine. Okay, so lighting, making sure it's coming from a direction that's not directly straight on. You can do straight on, but it's not nearly as cute as if you were to allow the light to do its grace and give you some shadows and beauty to really show off your warmer, okay? Next is location. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Don't put it on a chair that's not near a plug or outside next to your children's water toys, unless it makes sense, like, I don't know, bathroom cleaner. I'm cleaning out the pool. Don't put a warmer next to a pool. It wouldn't make sense, right? And with location, add little details. Make things that add the warmer to the scene versus just, oh, here's the warmer on my counter. Everybody wants to make it a little bit more interesting, add some dimension, add some height, add some details with fake foliage, or if you have real plants, do the real plant thing. Either way, but you just add a little bit of detail so it creates interest in the photo. And then on addition to that, it was part of the bonus, but making sure that you can have life going on in the photo with that being next to it. So if you're prepping dinner and that's just in the background, because we all have a warmer in our kitchen, I would assume. But you're going to have that really close. And then I love when people do the cluster photo. So instead of just, say I'm prepping chicken here, you see this angle with usually wax inside, right? Chopping chicken. And then they have another photo that's attached that's like this, or another photo that's like the detail shots. So people are like, ooh, I'm interested in what you're doing. And then they click and then they're like, ooh, but that warmer. And then they focus on the warmer. So it's life first, then product. And then the last tip was keep it simple when you're editing. So you want this to look black and with the silver details. You don't want this to look like it's a little bit of off green or it's so bright that this kind of looks gray. Like you want it to look as if they are pulling it out of the box. And that's kind of hard too. I will caveat this because it is kind of hard for people to understand when you're trying to brand, to try and keep things crisp. You just want to make sure that at least your product photos, your selfies can be whatever they want to be, but your product photos, if they come off a different color, your customers are going to expect that color. We've had a couple things in the past where it's been like that. They're like, wait, it's what color? And then everybody on the page is like, wait, which color is it? Is it closer to navy? Is it closer to this? And you don't want that confusion. If you can take the most crisp photo, add a little bit of I would probably add a little bit of contrast, add a little bit to your light to just brighten it just a bit. And those two things really just do enough. But if you wanted to kind of tweak a little bit, the highlights and the low lights, usually I do the highlights about 5 to 10 and then the shadows down 5 to 10. It just adds a little bit more to that dimension that I was talking about, because you're taking your photos, to the side. So you have that span of light in the photo, but then you can edit and it'll look so clean and crisp, and they will know what the product looks like that they're getting. So
awesome. Hey, thank you so much for doing that twice.
You're welcome.
Oh my gosh. I hope that everybody saw it twice at least. But anyway, if you didn't, welcome. This is who we
now
are.
they heard my audio. Maybe I was descriptive enough.
Oh my God, I bet you totally were, for sure. So one of my favorite tips that when you first started, you did another training similar to this. You talked about a really great way to cut the wax to make it look good. Do you remember that?
I probably used either a warm knife or I used my little wiggle thing. So I'm a stickler about how my wax looks. Don't ask me why, because to me, it should look like candy. Not that you're going to eat it, but it'll look like candy, You don't want like the broken edges. So I just used one of my little, what is that actually for? Does anybody know?
Crinkle cutter?
Yeah. What are those actually for?
That's for veggies. Yeah. Veggies. Yeah. Like making your own fries, cutting up veggies.
Yeah, I have tools that do it for me. So so crinkle cutters, you can usually, I found them at a thrift shop, but I think they have them at Walmart. But yeah, it adds a little dimension. Again, adding little details is like the sprinkles on top. Like as much different patterns that you can add into a photo adds dimension to a photo. It's the same reason why when you're taking a picture of a family, right? And they're all wearing white t-shirts and jeans, you're like, we're in the 90s. No. What you want the mom to wear this beautiful dress, and maybe she's wearing a sweater that adds that little pattern detail, and the dad, he's wearing suspenders because that's a detail that you don't normally have. It's adding texture to your photos that helps kind of make it even more realistic, and to know that that's part of life. Like nobody walks around, some people I guess walk around every day in white t-shirts and jeans. I'm not hating, but you want that detail. You want it to look.
I want to now. Just
you don't show up to SFR with pure white shirt and jeans.
So listen, I eat a lot of pizza, and that is like a recipe for disaster.
I don't know how. I'm pretty sure people buy them right before they go to the session. There's no way. There's no possible way. But yeah, the more textures you can add, the more details you can add. If you have wooden textures, adds a lot of detail. You've noticed a lot of people use the wooden risers over like the pure white ones, because typically we have a lot of white in our homes. A lot of people decorate with white furniture nowadays. So you want something that contrasts that. So just thinking about the little details of like, how can I add texture? How can I add a pop of color? How can I add in my personality? So there's a lot of Disnerds in our establishment. Yeah. And so you can have your Disney stuff in with your life. Like, oh, it's on your bed. Your bed is perfectly made. And then you've got your Disney stuff, because that's part of who you are. So you're adding textures, making sure life is in there. And that'll help, sell lots of stuff, because they can then envision it in their home.
Yeah, for sure. I love that. Exactly. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing your tips. I appreciate that.
No problem.
Yay. Okay, Katie.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just going to incorporate a little bit, really kind of what Fallon just said. I'm going to come right on the heels of that to say, make sure that when you're posting on social media, Scentsy does such an incredible job of giving us in-house photos that are ready to post that show a lot of the detail and the background. But you want to give your audience something that they're going to stop their scroll and really look at. And that's going to be an original photo. So make sure that you are incorporating, just like Fallon said, incorporate the product into your life. And I think a lot of people are a little bit afraid to niche just a little, because you don't want to miss out on any of the products. But I got to tell you, the more you niche and the more you make it very authentic to your life, the more people start to relate it to you. So now when they're out and about and they see something, they're like, oh my gosh, I wonder if Scentsy has something similar, or I wonder how this can incorporate into my life. You start to make people think about you without even realizing it. And thinking about your business, how this, instead of it being just something that you want to aesthetically admire, how can this also be functional in my home? And that's a big thing about showing those pictures. Especially, I'm a huge advocate for Instagram stories, because you can literally show your day-to-day life, how these aesthetically pleasing, beautiful products that are also functional bring about your personality, bring about, what people comment when they walk in your home. I guarantee you, all of us who sell Scentsy, the first thing they say is how good it smells. So you want to invite that into your social media space as well, where you're showing people how it fits into your life, but also how it fits into your personality. How great is it that you can show yourself in the business that you represent as well? So I'm a big advocate for taking the real life photos. And it is so awesome when people are great at taking pictures and can really show the dynamic and shadows and all these wonderful things Fallon is talking about. Snatch those photos, those are great, but also incorporate your real life photo with it. So in stories, you can do a lot of real life photos. You can do a lot of bubbling in there. So you can show this beautiful, aesthetically pleasing product, but then you can also show it in your home, like Fallon said, on your bed, fellow Disneyers. Show maybe it's weird that grown adults have Disney around their house. I don't know. It's not weird to me. It's part of our life. So showing how you incorporate that works.
I was thinking the same thing about Harry Potter.
Right? I mean,
also, who doesn't look forward to looking at Katie's costumes that she comes up with?
I
If
think
you
everybody
don't know, go to her social media because it is chef's kiss.
Chef's kiss, yes.
Thank you. I think that's part of it too, though, right? In that niche is don't be afraid to find something that works for you and your audience and run with it. If it doesn't work, don't be afraid to tweak things. You're not married to an idea. You can change it at any time. But when you find something that fundamentally works and people love it, I have a lot of people that engage with it that don't purchase Scentsy from me, but they like the idea of it. And they have, with the consistent posting of the idea and the niche, come around to be customers. It might not happen the first time. It might not even happen the second, but with that consistent posting, that is the key word there. Consistently show it in your life, show it in your car, show it in your kitchen, show it everywhere, because we represent a company that goes everywhere. We represent a company that has thought of everything. I mean, diffusers all the way to air purifiers. Show it in every facet of your life, but make sure that you're grabbing something. And the costumes, if you're scrolling, my point is to stop the scroll. And people can say, she's crazy. That's fine. It stopped their scroll. So the point is to capture that audience. And over time, by showing them how it fits in your home, you will very, very authentically convert them into a customer.
Yeah, I love that. And she touched on the consistency. If you don't give your consistency enough time to compound, if you give up too early, you're not going to see those results. And that's why we talk about that cyclical nature of our business. It's about 90 days. So if you are not showing up consistently, the results are not going to compound as well as if you're just kind of posting here, sharing there, being engaged kind of. And she touched on another thing too, engaging with your network marketing people, build those relationships. They might never buy Scentsy from you, but gosh, they think you're the funniest thing. And maybe you found your new best friend, right? Maybe you found somebody else who can give you some plant advice, because sometimes your plants hate you. Sometimes it just is, I'm not going to say anymore because mine, they love me, right?
You look good.
You love, thank you so much. Don't look too
Mine
close.
die.
I had a talk with some of my girls yesterday. I think we're all on the same page now. It's okay to talk to your plants, right? So, but finding your niche is a really important part of that too, because you want to talk to people who you get along with, because the point is not to just post and hope that shit sticks on a wall. You want to actually engage with them and build relationships and get to know them as well, because they matter too.
Yes.
Just posting and hoping that the people will come to you is probably going to yield far fewer results than getting to know other people who have things in common, who may never buy from you, but maybe they're going to refer somebody. Maybe they're going to eventually decide, okay, she's pretty cool, I want to join her. Or like, hey, my sister would love that. Or maybe they're just going to be your biggest cheerleader.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big deal too. Who doesn't love being cheered on? I do. I love the high fives. I love the I love the applause. Right. Thank you so much. It makes such a big difference when you are actively engaged with other people versus being self-involved.
Yes.
And I think it took me a long time to realize that. So like, why aren't people engaging with me? Why don't they like me? What am I posting? I'm posting wrong things. My content's not great. No, but I mean, it wasn't great. My content was okay, but it's because I wasn't I wasn't then posting on their things, commenting, engaging, showing them that I actually cared about them. And I might have been looking at it. They don't know that though. So engaging is a really important thing. And I just want to talk about too, Fallon, you know, she talked about incorporating things in your house. Katie touched on, essentially, I think being authentic is probably my favorite part that you talked about, just being you. Brandi talked about engaging and being, giving her VIPs a closer access, a deeper, better access, more access, different. Brandi is so relational. What did you say?
Inside access.
Inside access. That probably makes more sense. And building a different kind of engagement within her VIP group so they get a little bit more of her. I think that's my Schwann's guide. Yeah, it should just be a lasagna.
Real life.
This is real life. But I also want to talk about being authentic and real in you, because I don't show up as anybody else besides myself. And I think that's super important to know. Yeah, sometimes I post like happy, cheery things and maybe I've had a crap day. That's totally fine. But then I will say, it maybe in my stories, like, hey, today's not been great. Like I had a good portion. Here's what happened well, maybe here's what didn't. But I show up as me. And oh, do they have the mini ice cream too?
Mini instead of cups.
So sorry. Hold on. Katie's gonna take over.
Well, as Arielle was saying, so when you're pulling product to start showing, the more you have niched your product to be your personality, the easier it's going to be to pull things that you already have to display the pieces as well. So that's why we say, don't be afraid to branch out and really niche, but also through that authenticity, you are not going to then incur more expense than is necessary in this business. Don't go to the lengths that you are spending Scentsy money to continue your Scentsy business. Scentsy money is family money. So the more that you have made it authentic and niche, pulling products from around your house is going to become second nature. You're already going to have it because you already love it. Something to display with Rocket, Disners, you're probably already going to have something, I don't know, maybe cassette tape, earrings, and I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. You might have something that goes with it, but you're not going to have to go out and seek beyond. Now for my plant lovers, I'm going to come to Arielle's house because I kill everything. So to display the lovely aloe and all of those amazing warmers, you're going to want to make sure that as you're displaying that, if it's not in your niche, of course, still showcase it, but don't go that extra limit to put yourself in financial hock to get everything to make it a beautiful spread. That would be disauthentic.
Inauthentic?
Disinauthentic.
You know?
Not authentic.
You know? So I think something really cool too is like I have real and fake plants around the house. I think they're really pretty. This is actually from the little garden warmer. I've got some other stuff at Hobby Lobby. I have this cute display. This is kept in my bedroom. I have these white rocks. I got enough that I could switch out the black rocks from the little garden and sprinkle them in here, but keep it mostly the white rocks because I like that better. And then I'm able to change things out for holidays. Because you know I love a good holiday. Anytime I can decorate, I'm going to, specifically Halloween. I just want to make sure my lasagna is going to be coming in soon. So guys, this is authentic. This is real. If something happens in the middle of the live, you got to roll with the punches, right? Oh, that's what I was going to touch on. Just being you, showing up as you on social media. People relate more to real, raw, honest truth than to some fabricated, filtered persona of what somebody wants to be. And I think it's really important to be authentically who you are and understand that we're going to love you. We're going to meet you where you are. And so is everybody else, unless they're dicks. So I'm dropping a lot of stuff today, but I want to encourage you to be yourself, because if they're going to judge you, if they're going to be ugly toward you because of you being you, thank you, then that's on them. They're not your people. Find your people who are going to love you no matter what. Thank you. Find the people who are going to bring lasagna to your door, like Carlos from Schwann's.
Carlos, isn't it?
Yes. So anyway, I'm very excited for that. We're going to have that this week.
And use the products. That's they want to see. If you're just putting, hey, look, we have Scentsy Fresh. There it is. Use it. Spray it on your carpet. Spray it on your bed. You do really good at that. Mm-hmm. And Maggie does it too. I mean, I literally watch Maggie every day, spray her bed, spray this, spray that. Like it's part of my day now just to watch her stories because I want to see what she's doing. So I know what she's doing. I use the same stuff, but I like watching her stories. I like watching Fallon stories of cleaning up her kids' stuff, you know, whatever she's doing, taking her pictures. Like, you taught me to do the Swiffer to push all the toys to one side. Like, yeah, it's amazing. So like, do use the stuff. Like, we could be a salesperson, but if you're showing them, like, I use Scentsy Fresh, or I put scent packs instead of in the buddies in my car under the seat. I put them in my drawers. Like, give them other ideas that you're actually using it. You believe in the product, you stand behind it, and they're gonna want to just naturally come to you because they know you're going to give an honest opinion. I give an honest opinion. You know, we talk about scents, but there's certain things I don't like the car bars, and I've said that a million times. I give them still. I put them in my mystery boxes because I have people out of state that may love them. I never want to not offer a product, but I give them my idea of the scent circle and the spray so much more than the car bar. Like, I just give them the tips and the tricks and the me using it around the house. Like, I opened Coastal Sunset bathroom cleaner yesterday, never used it. I showed them spraying it. I was wiping down my bathrooms, and Courtney does a good job with that too.
Yeah,
she shows cleaning the bathroom, and she doesn't always just have Scentsy products, but it's incorporated with what she's doing. And so you're like, oh, she actually uses the bathroom cleaner. Maybe I want to try that. Or washing the dishes, or the laundry. Like, show using it. Put your wax cubes in, show them how you decorate your stuff, because then it's going to make them want to use it more.
Yeah. So just a couple things I have here. Like, I have an American flag sign that I made at one of those DIY workshops. I've got the stands that Fallon talked about. I've got some plants, and I literally just find ways to get the things, like, to, yes, I'll use this, my hands are Swiffers. I move crap out of the way so that I can have a good photo. But then later on, I'll also just show like a big broad picture of like, hey, that was the awesome photo, the close up, the detail, but here's how it really looks with everything. Because guys, I need you to know that I don't clean up when people come over like a lot. My kids, they clean up their junk, but I don't like cleaning, and that's not who I am. And I'm not saying my house is a pigsty. It's not dirty. But I'm not gonna like tidy everything up. Everything has a home, and it doesn't always make it there, and that's okay. And people know that when they come to my house, it's come as you are. Thank you. That was a good one. It's come as you are. I'm going to accept you as you are. You're in my house, and this is who I am. Welcome. So I just think probably the most important part is to be as authentically you as possible. You learned how to take good photos, engage with people, and be you.
I think at the end of the day, you're selling yourself before you're ever selling a product. And that is giving people a view into your life and what you love. And clearly what we all have in common is we love Scentsy.
Yes.
And there, right now on this video, there are 4 very different ways that can be portrayed and through the screen. So selling yourself, essentially, that sounds weird to say, but
I think we know what you mean though.
But it is.
It's
It's social selling.
Yeah.
You're selling yourself.
Well,
before.
We all sell the same products. We all have different customer bases because we all attract different people, and we are all successful people. So don't think that you can't simply because you're different. You don't do things the same way. That's a good thing. That's a very good thing. And if you're going to pick one thing to do from this training today, please just pick one. I know we gave you a lot of awesome tips. Pick one thing and master it. Stack those habits. Then pick another thing. Stack those habits. Incorporate it so that it becomes natural and second nature, and that you're doing these things for your business in a way that serves you and serves your customers and serves your audience. So if you got nothing else from today, thank you for joining us. That's all. But thank you to Brandi, Katie, and Fallon for giving some of their best tips. I hope you got something out of it. And if you're watching the replay, wherever you're watching this, drop some aha moments or some things that you do to really make your business shine and stand out for you. Because we'd love to, brainstorming is really fun, but also being able to celebrate you and how you're working is really rad. So did you want to unmute and say anything else? Nope. Cool. I saw you mouthing something, but I talk to myself a lot too, so I don't know.
He's been singing the ABCs while we've been talking, so.
Oh, great. I love it. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for your time. I appreciate it, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Bye.
Bye.